It's interesting. I've known Rose Tremain for a few years, and she's a dear friend. And I remember when I first came across the road home, I remember thinking how prescient, as the child of an immigrant, to read a book about contemporary immigration, about Lev and about Eastern Europe and about the trials and tribulations of modern life in London. It is astonishing that Rose managed to predict so much in that book. She's also asked me personally to point out the shoes she's wearing tonight because she's gone to great trouble to put on a fabulous pair of shoes, and I think you'll agree, much as she succeeded with writing, she's particularly succeeded with shoes. Ladies and gentlemen, the ever-lovely Rose Tremain.
Not true, not true. Don't believe a word he says. This is a book about displacement, exile. It concerns an immigrant from Eastern Europe who comes to London. It's also a book about loss. He comes because he's lost almost everything. His wife has died. He worked in a sawmill, and the sawmill has run out of trees, so he's lost his job. And he leaves behind a slightly vexatious mother and a little daughter called Maya, who he adores. And he gets on a bus, and this bus trundles all the way across Europe. And his destination is London. I'm going to read two very short little pieces, one where he's on the bus, and then one a little bit later on in the book. On the bus, he meets a fellow countrywoman called Lydia, who is going to feel less exiled, less displaced than him, because she has quite a good grasp of English, whereas Lev has only a few words. So this is a little conversation that happens between Lev and Lydia. You have to imagine Lydia, she's eating hard-boiled eggs. She's very well prepared for this journey. Lev isn't well prepared at all. He's got nothing. She's got a lot of eggs. There was a silence while Lydia ate her hard-boiled egg. She chewed very quietly. When she'd finished the egg, Lev said, "My English isn't too bad. I took some classes in Bahrain, but my teacher told me my pronunciation wasn't very good. May I say some words and you can tell me if I'm pronouncing them correctly?" "Yes, of course," said Lydia. So Lev said, "Lovely. I am legal. May you help me?" "May I help you?" corrected Lydia. "Oh, may I help you?" repeated Lev. "Go on," said Lydia. "Stalk," said Lev. "I am lost." B&B. "B&B," said Lydia. No, you mean to be or not to be." "No," said Lev. B&B, family hotel, quite cheap. Lydia has certain designs on Lev of all kinds, and one of them is to educate him and to help him with his English. So she gives him, over a rather agonizing lunch, from which she hopes something more will come than does come of it, a copy of Hamlet. Lev's English is quite good by this time, but Hamlet is sort of way beyond him. But in every sense, this man is a very, very hard worker. And so he struggles on through all these pages. He's struggling on with Hamlet until we get to here, when he's left London. He's temporarily working in East Anglia, where I live, on an asparagus farm and living in a caravan which he shares with two Japanese workers called Ming. And all this time he's been struggling on with Hamlet. He's very alone at this moment in his journey. His life is reduced to a kind of just sort of eat, sleep, work, survival. To be or not to be. Lev reached these famous lines on a night of sudden rain, with the new mattress cover soft under his body and the Mings sighing and whimpering in their complicated sleep. He remembered with a smile how on the bus Lydia had confused the words with the term B&B. He read on. To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing, end them. Lev lay back and let the book rest beside him. Even he, with his still flawed understanding of English, could admire the economy with which the question was expressed. And he wrestled with the thought that if only language could always be as simple, as sweet, as unambiguous as this, then life itself would somehow be less complicated. To be or not to be. He said it over and over, tried to translate it into his language, fell asleep saying it, remembered in his dreams how when his wife Marina had died, he'd wanted not to be. But he woke the following morning with the early sun and no will to die. Though he was in a sea of troubles, he'd find the means to take arms against them. Somehow he would. Thank you.